Hello, lovely Aquarians. This is your reading for the week of September 8th, or when you hear it and it resonates, and it will be for all Aquarians. My dears, every time I thought of this reading over the last 12 hours, I kept seeing a piano keyboard. And that's what I'm running with on this. And as I sat down and asked the guides to clarify and say what it is they wanted to say, this is where it went. It went from a keyboard to a set of bagpipes to a didgeridoo. And as I'm tuning into all of that, the message that I'm getting is this. There have been many of you Aquarians who have had dreams of doing creative things that you haven't yet allowed yourself to do. And it feels very important to say to you that you have lived at a certain layer of service in your life. You've lived at within a certain context of creativity, and yet it's not necessarily been the kind of creativity that delights your heart. So you may have always dreamed of playing the piano or the bagpipes or the didgeridoo, but you may not have let yourself do it. You might have always found a reason why it wasn't reasonable. There was no room for the instrument in your house. It would have disturbed other people. You didn't want to spend the money on it, or you felt like you couldn't. There might have been all sorts of reasons why you justified not doing it, but you're at a point in your life, Aquarians, now where you're no longer willing to make excuses for not doing what it is you really want to do. And Spirit is 100% behind you on that. It's really literally as though you are now redefining what is valuable. Not just to you, although definitely to you, but what is valuable. It's like you're getting to look back over your life, and without really doing a lot of deep investigative work, it's as though understanding is coming to you around situations that you've lived, choices that you've made, restrictions that you've placed on yourself. And it's not with a harshness, and it's not with a blaming attitude towards the past. It's with this more sense of revelation, like, oh, look at that. And it's allowing you to move more deeply into self-awareness and an understanding of your feelings around what you've lived, who you were, who you are, what you've lost, how you've liberated yourself, and how loss has been a liberation for you in sometimes. And now it's literally like now you're getting to look at this and say, okay, what's really important to me now is me. It's not that it hasn't always been you in some ways. I mean, it's true for all of us, but now it's a matter of you really stepping into the understanding that you don't need to be a pleaser. You don't need to always be in service of others, that your very life, your very existence is meant to be of service to you, as well as whatever you do for anybody else. But you're letting yourself take priority now. Now, not all of you are all the way there, and some of you may be only anticipating it, and some of you are just really well into it. Because this is just all a part of what this next phase of life is about. Not just for you, but for humanity. It's now where we get to break down what the rules were, what we lived by, why that might have been relevant or important to the people who raised us that way, to the culture that existed. But now, because all of the cracks are showing, or many of the cracks are showing in many of the institutions within which we were raised, it actually encourages more of a self-reflective position, because without necessarily knowing it, a lot of the subconscious things that our identity was anchored in through our belief system, our family, our culture, our nationality, our religion, the cracks are there now. So it's literally like that deeper part of us is seeping out through the cracks, and it's coming out like this, and there's the discovery of it. So Aquarians, what I'm getting for you with this goes even further. And it goes further where it's saying, by having given up some things, some situations, some choices, some beliefs, you actually have also started to give up your attachment to struggle and your belief that it was somehow honorable to work hard in order to get something. That you're learning that as you play, and as you allow yourself to really operate from that centered, loving place rather than that anxious, struggly workplace, what you're getting a chance to do is you're getting a chance to understand more deeply what it is you want, more deeply what your true feelings are, your feelings. And this is taking you, whether you realize it or not, this is taking you deeply into your higher conscious self, and it's really touching your soul, where now you're getting to experience and express yourself within the bigger context of life here on this planet, which is really living from a deep, authentic place that understands your being on many dimensions, in many dimensions. It's understanding, it's moving more towards a kinesthetic, a body sense, a knowing of the more mystical side of life. And this is, thank you, this is, they're asking you to take a quantum leap of faith in that, that to really trust that what feels like leaping into the unknown void is sailing on the winds of the infinite, unlimited benevolence, which will guide you wisely to your best and most graceful landing. Beyond logical expectation, beyond the linear projections of our minds, there is a place of free fall that you're being guided through. And that's really what this feels like in many ways, is that, and thank you, they keep bringing this up. The reason the three instruments they showed me, the piano, the bagpipe, and the didgeridoo, is because they all involve a lot of body. They all involve a lot of really strong vibrational force, and that is really, really powerful for your body. What I would like to say, Aquarius, is it's important for you to get vibrations moving through your body. This is what it feels like they're telling me. Now, of course, I can't diagnose and I can't direct you to any kinds of exercises that could potentially be harmful. But what I would suggest is, we know from science that the electricity runs through the connective tissue of the body. It's a beautiful pipeline, and it starts in the nervous system and it runs through the fascia throughout the entire body, the connective tissue, right? So whatever you can do to look at where you're restricted in your physical body and address what some of the gentler options might be to create some mobility in those areas. And again, do it with intelligence, do it with wisdom, do it with guidance from professionals. And another way to get things moving in your body is through vibrational frequency, through music, through singing, through chanting, through gentle movement, through swaying, through shaking. And there are all sorts of different things that you can look at, often through the Qigong or the Tai Chi, but I would say even more Qigong. You might want to check out some brain gym exercises that are gentle, that are simple, that can just start getting movement through the system, energy through the system. Blood flow follows energy flow. So what can you do to increase vibrational energy in your body in a way that does not risk hurting you physically? Okay? So I've mentioned a few: music, listening to music, chanting, humming, singing, like really letting yourself feel that vibration in your body. The other thing they're saying is, in order to really understand what's right for you, what's good for you, in terms of where you want to move and how you want to continue, slow down. The other thing that they would like to say to you is that as you're experiencing this new evolution, this very kind of movement from the past to the present to where you're going, and where you're going in terms of dimensional understanding, connection to higher conscious mind, is to just slow down, do one thing at a time, to allow yourself to feel what it is you want, because that's what's going to guide you. Feel where you go, where you feel good in your own mind, in your imagination, in your activity. Go where it feels good, but let yourself slow down long enough to really be in touch with what feels good. Be aware of feeling it in your heart and letting it come up through into your face. And one of the things that I find really powerfully indicative of something that is good for me is when I feel myself smile and I feel it come all the way up from my heart into my eyes. When it's a full body smile at that point. And that tells you that the energy is running. It's not just a little psychological thing. Remember, energy rules everything. So when you find that happen and you feel it coming up through, you know that that is a positive energy in your system. So that's a route to explore then. If I think, for example, of playing the bagpipes, well, I'll laugh at it, but it doesn't lighten my heart. If I think of learning to play the harp, my heart opens. Not that I'm going to, but I know that that would be something that would be for me, because that makes me go, oh yeah, I could really, yes. And other things too. Walks in the woods. I know some people will laugh at this, but playing with my cat. I know that every day when I start playing with my cat, my heart is full and I can't help but smile and laugh, because she's just so delightful and she's so happy to be playing and to be alive. And that, so I know energetically that is good for me to do that. I'm going to leave you with this. I feel like there's fairly concrete stuff in here for you. And Spirit is saying, again, Aquarius, you are in the process of evolving in a really, really big way. You may not always know it. You may not always understand it. And this is something they do want me to reinforce, is that you may not always understand how deeply you are growing, or how vast your consciousness is moving towards, into, English, because it's happening kind of organically for you. A little crack here that's opening your mind, a little crack there where a feeling's popping out. So be aware, please, Aquarius, that it may not feel big and huge. Doesn't mean it's not happening. That's why they want you to pay attention to what you're feeling and do one thing at a time, and to lean into play, and that lighthearted quality, that silliness, and to really trust that as you allow yourself to move into love, into liberation, out of struggle, into play, into an understanding of what your values, your morals, and when I say values and morals, it's not just like, you must do this, you can't do that. It's what you stand for in your heart and what you love and what makes you smile from your heart and through your whole body. Those are the things, okay? Take care, my Aquarians. Love you lots.